live. We're live. We're live. Hey, we're live. And you can hear me. You can hear me in New York. You can hear me in Philadelphia. You can hear me in Atlanta. I can't tell. I don't know if this is doing the thing or not. See, my meter's not working, so I can't tell if anybody can hear me. I am moving my mouth a little higher. I can't do higher. I can talk louder, though. So there. I can't really move closer. And every time I touch that thing, it quits working. Are you from Illinois? There you go. Where at in Illinois? Where are you at in Illinois? You're in upper state Illinois. No, the Chicagoland area. No, we don't know. Everybody can hear me, but nobody can answer me. I don't understand this. Hello, hey, Bowman. Yeah. So you can hear me? Loud and clear. Here I am. I take it the thumbs up means yes, we can hear you. So that's what I will say, and I will go with and say that everybody can hear me. And we got a minute here before we hit 4 o'clock. Loud and clear. See? So, okay, we're loud and clear. And we're working our way in. Trevor actually might join us. Maybe. I don't know. He's supposed to be arriving here shortly. But I never know. So, hope everybody's had a good week. Afternoon, Glenn. And been one of those weeks where there's been something constantly. Wednesday was the Dons Club meeting. I believe Dallas Wright's been in here. I met Dallas Wright down there. He is now a prospective Don. So he was at the club meeting and dinner. And we had a gentleman by the name of Jim Tang speak. Spoke about Chinese and culture in the 1880s, 1890s in Phoenix. I got his book. It's not his book. He was the contributor. It was a number of people contributed to this book, photos and material, and then they had someone compile it for them. But he was a very nice gentleman, and he did a really good talk. But was an overview, so I got the book, and so I can read the book and kind of catch up on everything else. Looking forward to the Rendezvous. Can we have campfires there? Yes, it would be silly not to. You can have them wherever there's campfire rings. There is campfire ring in the main Ramada. Yeah, there he is, Dallas, right? I just was talking about him. Burning his ears. Met him. I think you were there with your wife. And yes, had dinner with us at the Don's Club. I just mentioned that. So, but I was talking about Jim Tang. Nice guest speaker. Nice gentleman. So I've got a copy of his book. I haven't even started it yet. And then last night, Trevor was involved in an exposition thing where they are working on setting up apprenticeships and various different things for students and people to kind of start working into the job market and stuff. So he did that. I ended up picking him up probably around close to 10 o'clock. So they were long nights, long days. So we got through all that. Then we have tonight, and then this weekend starting to gear up for a bunch of different stuff. And then we have a Don's outing this weekend. So we'll be out at the, I think, Scottsdale Western Museum or something. So we got that and a luncheon and a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, it is currently, because we always do this, it is currently 101. Supposed to get down in the high 60s tonight. So the weather's somewhat stable. It should be just before the Rendezvous. It looks like it's going to be in the mid to low 80s. And in the low 60s, maybe high 50s in the open desert. So it should be pretty nice out there. I don't know about cloud cover or anything else. We're supposed to get a little rain next Thursday, possibly. So there will be cloud cover moving in next week. Let's just hope for that. If we get a little cloud cover and stuff, that'll make it really sweet out there. We've never had any rain. We've never really had it really cool. We've had some breezy times, and but It's generally been warm out there. Is there anything we can bring to the rendezvous to help out? Firewood. Was gonna bring a few cases of water. That's always cool too. If you can buy like a case of water, set it on a bench in the big ramada, throw some firewood down. Like I said, we have a big fire in the main ramada. Probably do that Friday night, and then we always down by my camp. There's a fire pit where when you first come in, where I'll be camped, and we always sit around a fire there as well. So there'll be, and a couple other areas, but they always want you to keep them in the fire rings. I don't think there's a fire danger warning thing out right now with the Forestry Service, so I think we'll be good for the most part. So there. Otherwise, just bring yourself to have a good time. One of the things we have, I didn't bring all my material in, was we got a lot of people that kind of like the stories we've been telling through October and stuff. We got a little more, but I kind of jotted down where some of those took place near the camp and some other spots we've been to and talked about. So Friday afternoon, evening, after everybody's eaten, and I'll maybe have people through the weekend go out to those spots. I know Kim Johnson, I don't know if he's joined yet, but he was going to bring his stuff and his meters and stuff. And I got the stuff I have, which my stuff, actually, his stuff measures ghosts. Mine measures actually magnetic fields and electricity. It's funny how they're the same thing. But anyways, I figured that way we could kind of run through some of the stuff and people could hit those spots. I'm going to have a bunch of little maps made up with various places. We have where the Trek hike kind of went out for the hikes. There's a check-in point, which would be an interesting spot, I thought, because of probably 100,000 people have wandered through there going on the long hikes and stuff. There's the crematory rock where either the Solano or Hohokam did cremations and stuff. We have Adam Stewart's grave where he had a place down at Peralta Trailhead. You know who it is. Why would you bark? But we'll go down and find his grave, and there's a big stone marked with his name on it. So I figure that's a good spot. We got the spot where the light supposedly went on the rocks by the Navajo Hogan. Mike McChesney had the story up by the main gate. And then one last thing is the Linsba. Linsba's ranch was actually the second, third, fourth, after the first for a few treks, they actually had it at Linsba's ranch, and that's just outside the Don's camp, just north of it. And I got some pictures that kind of show the layout and all, but Linsba died 34, I think, might have been 34, could have been later around. Anyways, so, but his ranch was there. It was there till sometime in the 50s, and they got the Don set there, and the Forestry Service gave and leased the land south of there to the Dons, and that's where the Dons are till this day. So that'll actually be kind of a neat thing that we've never done. That's Dexter. Anyways, so we'll kind of throw that in with stuff and give, we'll be sitting around the campfire stories, whatever else we do. And Saturday night, of course, we have the guest speakers main program. But that'll be kind of a neat thing to see what happens around there. You just have to consider the volume of people and things that have happened in the Don's campaign. And you guys are going to go order and probably pick up the pizza to cook while I'm doing live, right? Yeah, okay. That sounds like a great idea. Everybody heard that. So we'll hold Trevor to that. Hi, Trevor. So it sounds like fun. It gives everybody a little thing. And the thing I thought, and Kim Johnson and I talked about, is there's a lot of people that really like that stuff. And I mean, obviously a lot's happened out there. So I thought, from my point of view as a skeptic, it's kind of fun because I like to see what people think things do and kind of look at it. It doesn't have to be mean-spirited or anything, but it can be fun. So I figure it's just kind of a cool thing of like, okay, you got the Native American stuff and the old ranchers and different things that come from different areas, and see what happens with the crowd there and everything else and people running around. And I know there's a lot of people that have shown up at the rendezvous that are into that particular thing. So I think it's a nice mix. So I figured I would do that, and we could kind of have that working. How's Frank doing? Frank's doing very well. I just talked to Frank. Let's see, I'm looking at the time. About 3-4 hours ago. Frank was doing well. We talked for a while. He'll be out Saturday. Unless something happens that convinces them to come out longer. Get older, you don't want to sleep on the ground and stuff. He bought all the stuff so he could sleep out there, but I think, having to put the food together, he isn't that far that he just figures it's easier to get up, take a shower, get cleaned up, come on out, spend some time and all that, and then go home at night. Did Tomlinson have access to the bark notes? No. I'm curious about the word busca. Well, busca's a normal word. It's just a Spanish word, so he would have heard it, being from Arizona and Texas. So it would have been, it would have been remedial Spanish, so he would have known it. It's a pretty common word. It's like senor and chorito. Not chorito. Chorito's a made-up word, I think, but enchilada and sombrero, and it's funny because you see people. Trevor is not here, but he would explain that A's and O's and the feminine and masculine and how you say past tense, present tense is very important in Spanish. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong, the sombrero, sombrera and stuff. And they try to get tricky thinking, oh, you really say it this way. Is Woody still doing all right? Yeah, he's doing all right. He'll be down probably Friday. He always makes more plans than he needs to. I got to talk to him this week and tell him just quit making like 400 plans for that week and just come to the rendezvous and just hang out. He's supposed to do a bit of a prospecting class down there, and then hopefully he just hangs out with us and stuff. If anybody wants to play some cribbage, he usually brings the cribbage board and he enjoys that. But get him to kind of hang into camp and stuff and just kind of hang out with us instead of trying to run off and do too much. But Woody and Frank are both doing very well. Shoes should be there. Shoes doing well. Ron Feldman and Jesse, I've seen them. They're doing well, and they will be there. I'm trying to think of who else I've talked to over the last week or two. Hey, Trevor. What? I'm live. You know that, right?
Yeah, you need to teach your dog not to jump over the couch.
Okay. Which dog is that?
Yours.
Well, he jumped over the couch, not on the couch.
He jumped from behind the couch
Yeah.
over the couch and then fell over on the floor.
He fell?
Like, because he jumped.
Well, he didn't get hurt, I can tell, because he's getting ready to do it again.
Ready to do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's bouncy. He's like Tigger. So, anyways, dogs. But, we have all that going on in the rendezvous. So that'll be kind of cool. And then with the guest speakers, which is always, one of them I haven't heard from, but I know Jack Sanfelice will definitely be there. There's 2 or 3 other things I have scheduled that I know some of it should go off. So we'll see what happens. If the program goes off as I want it to, and as it's been planned for 6 months, it'll be really nice. I think it'll be a nice little bit of a variety. We're trying to do kind of something similar to Trek and kind of have a nice little variety for people, since we figure next year we'll probably have a really good crowd because it'll be the 20th anniversary. What's the weather like there? It's really nice. It warmed up the last few days back to about 100, but it was down in the low 90s, and it was down in the low 60s at night. It was really, really nice. And I'll mention I didn't get a chance to talk to Dallas Wright. He gave me a thumbs up, and we just got to say hello briefly. I was down at the other end of the room. He sat one end of the room, and I ended up sitting at the other end of the room. And then I was talking to the Don's president and Greg Davis, and we were kind of putting together a lot of stuff with the meeting and the rendezvous and certain other things. And it just, then the guest speaker, and we didn't get out. If you're at the Don's meeting, you want to speak to me, you look when Kim Johnson and I get up, and we kind of shuffle out the door, and then because we're going for a smoke break, which we get a couple of those in, that's when you catch me. You catch me out front of the restaurant on a cigarette break. Plus, the room's awful loud there. The room is very loud at La Rista Mexican restaurant, so it's really hard to have much conversation, anything really good. But it was good to see we had an induction of 2 members, and then we have several prospective members. So weather's good, everything's good. Dons are rolling again for everything we're going to do, and I'm getting everything geared up. The final gear up, getting everything kind of put together and kind of confirming as I go. I'm trying to think of who else I heard that said they would Kim Johnson who I haven't seen Kim here today, but Kim said he had everything set up and he would be there. Kim got a new knee. He was actually moving around pretty good on it, so it's good. And he dropped weight, so it was good to see that. So he looked good. So it'll be good to see him and Chris out there at the Rendezvous. And that's the big thing too, is getting to see everybody. It's been a while, a minute, since we all kind of ran across each other from last spring. So the summer we all kind of like hide away. So there we go. So that's that. So that shows the Rendezvous November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll be out there for the gate opening, and the gate should be open around noon or just before. Come on in. You'll see the setup of the camp. We have videos showing the camp. We have a Rendezvous video, which actually kind of shows you the drive-in. The road's really great condition right now, all the way in. And because of the new park, we're supposed to pave the road up to the county park next summer. So next year will even be better. But yeah, when you get to the fork in the road, and you see there's a sign that says Peralta Trail. You go to the left, go up, kind of turn around the corner. But we have a nice video that shows you kind of the drive-in and then shows you the camp and the setup. A bunch of the smaller buildings got brand new roofs, so the camp looks really, really good. We never get any rain there, so it didn't really matter, but there you go. Evening. Mike sounds a bit strange. It could be a problem on my end. It could be. I don't know. No one else. Everybody else said has been loud and clear. I'm going to talk to Trevor after last week where I played the guitar and realized the guitar that sounds absolutely phenomenally beautiful in the room is a very warm and full sounding guitar. Sounded like total crap. I'm not going to do the guitar thing for a moment, but I'm going to find myself a better mic. I've asked Trevor in the past if we could do a lav mic, where I could hook up a lav mic, because I like the sound of them, but it's kind of strange. And plus, I don't hear it in the room. The room's very quiet, but when on this microphone, I've noticed the room's very bright. So there you go. Everyone eating all the chips and salsa. Yeah, at the Don's meetings, because they generally do. It's usually Mexican food. I don't know if that's by just the place or whatever coincidence. I had tacos. So Trevor had a chimichanga, but he had it twice because the first time it had cheese on it. He can't eat cheese. So they have the black chips and the normal chips and the green salsa and the red salsa. And no, but really good food. Larista has pretty good food. The only thing I got is I got something one time they put an egg on. They like fried an egg and stuck it on top, and that was kind of weird. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah. So combination plate. That's what you got. Okay, I got the 2 tacos and some rice. I wanted to eat light that night. So sometimes you eat heavy and you get real sleepy, and then you got to drive home and stuff. So I did that. I've done the chimichanga, and that's good. Like I said, I did a couple other things. I always try the menu. And then I don't know where. I know we're going to be at Carrabba's one time and jumping around and stuff. Sound fine. See, there you go. So I'm not, but when I listen back to these, I also know how I sound and how our videos sound, and I always judge it. I want the sound we get in the videos, which I always understand is not always perfect, but we've been getting really good at capturing really good audio, and my voice is naturally a lower register, so I really like that to come across fine and work, and I was really surprised. So the guitar sounded like crap. And so I'm going to get a better mic, and then hopefully have a longer cord. Oops. So I can set it up in front of me more here, down below, where I can actually speak into it. Probably even have better audio, but we're stuck with this one. It has a short cord, and if I mess with it, you'll lose me. So I'm not going to touch it because I've learned about that. So I got the Rendezvous. We kind of covered that. We got and then we have Mr. Jack Santley's book, Finding El Dorado, which he'll be speaking on. And he will bring in some copies. We will be raffling some copies off, but Jack will be speaking on the subject matter of this book, and he will be there to sign. I'm going to try to talk to Ron and Jesse, and I believe Thomas Glover there. I don't know if he has any books around, but anyone has books, they'll probably have a table set up so everybody can get a chance, and definitely have some pens around so they can sign their books. And Thomas's Spanish thing, well, I don't like it. I don't like that, and they should change it. Yeah, so I didn't know about it. I didn't read that part in it, and then it came to me, and I looked at it, and I was like, what? Not a big egg fan sometimes, unless if you scramble them eggs up and throw chorizo in. If it's chorizo and eggs, I'm a big fan, because chorizo is like one of my things. So anyhow, that was it. That was La Rista and all that. And like I said, Jim Tang did a great thing there. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting about the Chinese in Phoenix in the 1880s, 1890s, and kind of how things worked there in the small areas and the stores, and the co-ops and stuff. So it was a very cool thing. I learned a little bit of what he talked, enough to get me really interested. Hey, Jax, and pick up his book. So the book's $35. I don't know where you can find it, but the book is called, get it again in case someone's interested, loves Southwest history and stuff, but it's Gold Mountain in the Desert. So a history of the Chinese in Greater Phoenix, Arizona. So there it is. It's a handy dandy book. That's color. Well, there's black and white, but it does have color photos and other stuff, but a lot of historical photos and stuff. So far, good deal. It's heavy book too. It's heavy. Heavy. Put it with Jack's book. That's a lot of weight. Be a good doorstop too. So there you go. So we got all that going, but like I said, I'm going to try to get Jesse and Jack and anybody and Ron and anybody has books. See if I can get shoes to kind of bring a Goldfield, go Boomtown to bust. We got a few others stacked up. I think Greg Davis and Jack Carlson had some things they were going to give to me. So we should have a lot of stuff kind of going out. And I know some people have got that stuff, but it's very cool for everybody going into that stuff and all. I just got so many copies of stuff. I'm going to try to go through what I got. So there we go. So we kind of caught that up. Salutations. There we go. Is your pyramid stone the same materials as stones? No, it's sitting right there on the shelf. I don't know what it is. It looks like it's a piece of granite of some sort. I'll have to have Frank tell me what it is exactly. I think it's a piece of granite. Sits up there. Nothing's happened ever since we talked about it. So I moved it around, tried to see if I could get anything else to happen, and nothing happened. So the stone sits on the shelf there. There's no electronics in that area that it could mess with, so I put it there when I'm not monkeying about, like trying to see if something else would happen. I put it there. No portals opened up. Nope. So it's been good. Harley Quinn hasn't been jumping around and running around in the marsh lamp, which that's not my Harley Quinn. That's Tyler's. For some reason, it's stored in here. I don't understand. I guess he just decided this was a good place to leave it. So there we go. But yeah, the pyramid stone is sitting there. It'd be interesting, when we get back out, it would be interesting, but they did say one was stolen. They found one and it was stolen. I don't know if it's that one and the other one was stolen or what, but there's supposed to be two. So it'd be interesting to find the second one. And then we can do some Ghostbusters stuff and open up a portal and get the Pillsbury Doughman to show up or, something like that. Who knows? You never know what that stuff could do, right? Yeah. Okay, so I talked about a lot of what we're kind of got set up. Rendezvous, the toilets will be open, the men's and women's, so there's bathrooms. So you can do that. Bring flashlights with batteries, rechargeable, whatever, because you will need light. There's no electricity there. You bring a generator. We ask around 10 o'clock or so, 10:30. We kind of finish up with the generator so the camp's real quiet, because there's a bunch of us. The majority aren't going to be running generators and stuff. I kind of always find it odd to have the people running the AC and the generators all night. And it ends up keeping everybody awake. But that's about it. And just come out and have a good time and stuff. We kind of freely share what we got to some degree. We will be cooking chili up on Saturday. Bring your food and, cook what you like and all. We do the chili. The main reason, and Joe wrote about it, the stew, because a lot of people just come into camp. And because it's around dinner time, we always cook the chili. There's some people that like to come down and just have chili who are staying in camp. But there's a lot of people that are coming into camp, and it's kind of nice to have some food or something there. Kim said he was going to bring a bunch of cornbread. I usually bring biscuits. We have the chili. Yes, we do not have the jalapenos no more because there was a complaint. There's a lot of people, I didn't know this, a lot of people are allergic to jalapenos and have problems with them. So we used to have really good chili, and now we have non-jalapeno chili. Any update on the Lust for Gold documentary? That's done. It's done. It's out. It's finished. Put a fork in it. I'm trying to think if where I have a copy of it sitting around. I got copies of it. Anyways, Lust for Gold, Race Against Time is gone. It's done, made, homemade lasagna. I guess you could bring homemade lasagna, or you can make it there from scratch. Um, it's usually stew, chili, steaks. Some people do hamburgers, hot dog. No cowboy candy. There's cowboy coffee, so with the sock filter. Anyhow, Lust for Gold, the documentary came out. It was a year or two ago. We actually did a premiere at I think it was Harkins, one of the theaters. We did Harkins Theater. We did a big premiere. It was before Rick Gwynn died because the premiere was myself, Rick Gwynn, Ron Feldman, Salvador Degadillo. I think that was it. The four of us sat out in front of the theater in the theater, but out in front of the room, and we signed posters. I have a bunch of those signed posters that I had. Most everybody from the cast. Bill Blackwell did sign one. Robert Kesselring has signed some. There's very few of those left, and obviously since Rick's passed away, there won't be any more. But Shoes has signed them. Yeah, pretty much most everybody involved in the film signed it. I'm trying to think. Robert May, the producer, might be the only person that didn't sign it. I think Bob Brown even signed it. So if I ever run back into Robert May, I'll get him to sign a bunch, and then we'll have one that has the producers, directors, cast, crew, everybody. I watched it, but did anyone get into what? Dallas? I don't think they accomplished anything. I think they've been out a couple times, but they've never really gotten anywhere ever since. They never got any permits. I think they've been over by Rick's old claim, messing around there. Robert Kesselring's health hasn't been the best. So he hasn't been able to physically do much. Bill Blackwell's always out. He's been to the Rendezvous a bunch of times. Bill's a nice guy, but he's an attorney. So what can you believe? You know, can't believe an attorney. And he's an entertainment attorney, which is probably one of the worst kind. So let's call Sal. Okay, let's call Saul. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. But yeah, Dallas, catch up with me. But that's what you were asking. Okay, yeah, the film was done. The film was out, and then the production company and the distributors and all just kind of like dried up. I haven't heard from any of them after we got the release done and the film festivals and stuff. We did all that stuff, and then we've never heard from them again. Rick passed away, and like I said, I talked to the others, but as far as I know, what their updates are. And Bill might be there. I don't know if Bob Kesselring will be out because of health reasons, but Bill Blackwell comes out pretty frequently. So, and they were both there. Was it last year or the year before? They were both out at the Rendezvous. So you can always ask them yourself. And take a swing around there with Mr. Kesselring's magic cane. So, as Frank calls it, the magic cane. Anyways, welcome back, Jax. So that's that. So, and we might in the main Ramada, depending, we might run a film in there or something. We can't do it during the day because one of the problems is the screen. It needs to be dark for it to really run properly. Going to be live next Friday? Yes, probably, because Trevor never seems to do anything anymore. Hello, everyone. Hello, James. Hopefully, you're James Franco, the actor, famous actor. But yeah, we'll probably do live next week, and then the week after that, I already have a couple things set up for Trevor because I told him if we're going live, it's going to be Trevor sitting in this chair, and most likely not, because at this time he should be on his way out to the Rendezvous. So there won't be a live the Friday after next. And the next Friday should be the last live before we take a breather. It's been a few in a row. It was like, well, can you do a live or two here and there? Okay. And then it's been like 10, 12 consecutive. And I know a lot of people like them and all, but it just gets to that point where you're always hoping you'll be there. One of the reasons we stopped too was I was doing the lives, but it was just suddenly became a thing of like having to make sure you're there. Busy seasons work, and you're trying to go, oh crap, I got to do live. And remember, the original ones were in my truck. I just sit in my truck with the phone. So that's how we did it to start with. And that was the first bunch. And then I think I moved it inside because it was just too hot out there all the time. Paul Smith, hope all is well. Some cooler weather coming. Cooler weather is coming. It's always cools down after Halloween. As Halloween hits, and then it suddenly takes a dip. So we should have after Halloween. And that was one of the reasons we used to do the rendezvous like this weekend would have been the rendezvous weekend. We would have been actually out there this weekend right now, and it was always a bit warmer, and we just pushed it back a little to see if we could get a little cooler weather, because when it is unseasonably warm, it's tough. Like this weekend's going to be in the hundreds, and being out there just kind of makes it tough to want to do anything. Everybody ends up just sitting around, and it's just a bit hot. So we moved it so after Halloween and into November, and did that. It used to be we tried to start it, kind of put it around the weekend closest to October 20th, which is when Walt's died, 25th. Like I said, it leaves Halloween open for the families, and then we kind of do it in November. So, and it's always flexible. It's just once after the first weekend or second weekend, whatever, once we get into November, then you're getting too close to Thanksgiving and then the holidays, and there's a lot of other things going on. Even though the first rendezvous we did at the Buttes, and they did talk about going to Lost Dutchman State Park, the Silver King Mine, moving it around every year. And Greg Davis put the kibosh on that and said, it'll never last if we're jumping around year to year. Why don't we just do it at the Don's Camp? And me and Randy thought, that's great. How much is that going to cost us? And Greg said, you guys can have the rendezvous there for free. And we were like, holy crap. So we got used to it for, I think the first year we did it there's probably about 50 people. But it was kind of nice that Greg got us that deal. And now we've been at the Don's Camp. This will be our 18th year there. So it's worked out really, really good. So hello to all. There you go, Arizona Gold Hunter. So I'm trying to think of what else there is to talk about. If there's anything I'm missing information-wise. But not really. But yeah, at the rendezvous, bring water, bring firewood, bring yourself something to eat, something to sleep in. If you want to sleep in your car, you can do that. But everybody tries to kind of kick in and help anybody else out. Greetings, Wayne, at all gold seekers. Go Gold Prospecting San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. And there we go. And so every day is a golden day in Texas. There we go. In Arizona, it's kind of a nice day. It is nice out. It's nice and quiet. So kind of, like I said, after that brutal summer, it's kind of really nice right now. And we've made it pretty good. Only a half hour? Wow. Okay, so we got plenty to do. We're not getting a lot of questions this week. So we'll be doing the episodes of Chasing Legends. Thank you, everybody, because those have been going really well. And we will film out by the rendezvous, nothing personal. If you've noticed, there's been very little we've ever filmed at the rendezvous that ever makes it. We try to give the guest speakers that option. And most of the time they're like, nah, because they worry how they come off and stuff. So we're like, okay. But it would be kind of cool if we did that stuff. By the way, just so we were mentioning when we opened up with about the ghost guys and all, Greg Davis has had tape recorders running around the Don's Camp at every rendezvous. So he's done EVP recordings of people sitting around talking. So if there was mysterious voices, Greg would have let us know. Hello, Wayne, and everybody in the chat. There we go. Jim Malone jumps and joins in. So, but it's been really kind of nice weather, so I'm looking forward to everything, and we're pulling everything together. I think it's just because I'm hungry tonight. I'm thinking, man, things need to move faster. And plus, Trevor's home, it just seems odd because he hasn't even been here for these lives for quite some time. And you notice he didn't even come in other than just kind of briefly stand in the doorway off camera and hello, and then he disappears. So we need to change who gets the monetization on that, because it's definitely not me. I'm just a piece of raw talent, just being used for who I am, and everybody else takes advantage. So there we go. So we got the rendezvous and got all that stuff out. kind of coming down. And then, of course, we move into, there's a lot of Don's activities. And then we roll into next year, and obviously in March, we'll get closer to that. It'll be the Treasure Hunt of the Year Awards on the Ides of March. So, and then Discovery Camp falls in there as well. There'll be Don's cleanup and stuff, and Don's Discovery Camp for the kids. That's 6 weeks for third graders. I think it might be third and fourth now, but we're booked up and filled up already. I think they got like 1,200 kids they were talking about already booked to come through on 6 consecutive Fridays. What I'm really trying hard with the Dons, and we haven't got there yet, is I want to open up Discovery Camp to have a Saturday, since most of the Dons are camped down there during that 6-week run. I think it would be cool to run the Discovery Camp program on a Saturday for just families, and then just broadcast it and see who comes out, and kind of just like give people and their families a chance to come out, anybody that wants to kind of see what it's about. So we do the gold panning, we do the cattle branding, we do the roping, we do a hike, they do the pottery thing where they paint pottery and stuff and do an indigenous class. Trying to think of what else. They have the amphitheater, then usually the Dons do a bit of a talk, and the Forestry Service does a talk. And then we have I can't remember their names. They're down along the Salt River. Liberty Wildlife comes out. They bring some hawks and eagles and stuff. They've never brought any mammals. They always bring birds, but I think that's mainly what they have there. But they come out and kind of show the kids the birds and stuff. I think that's the groups. I'm trying to think of the stations. But we run them through stations and teach them these various things, or at least give them a taste of all this different stuff. Remember, hit the like. Always remember, hit the like. You don't have to hit the like. Just watch it repeatedly. Watch it. Everybody here should watch this at least 500 times. And that would be really cool. Even though analytics, the way this works, once you've done it, you realize it's not real the way it is. There's nothing more frustrating than YouTube, how its analytics and stuff can see stuff, and then it'll take away views. I remember a day we were sitting there, and I was like, oh man, it's really doing so good. We're at 1,500, and it's only been, this is back when we first started doing the episodes, and it was like 1,500 views already in like 4 hours. Man, this thing's kind of spooling up pretty quick this afternoon. And then an hour later, it was like at only 1,100, because they'll take likes away and then they'll add them back in. You never know how all that works. So it's kind of screwy. I'm never sure how it all quite works. And I know everybody else does so many bots and pays and markets that it's not realistic. If you ever want to know, and maybe someday we'll do a Chasing Legends or talk completely live in depth about YouTube and content creators and stuff. But one thing that's important to understand is the thing that everyone looks for is watch time. How long people watch. These lives do really well, even though the viewership's much lower, because most of you kind of jump in and you watch the whole thing. You sit here and watch me the whole time. So my viewership watch time is real high. That's how the rankings of YouTube work, on watch time, not viewers. You can have 1 million people, but you might be doing 500,000 bots. And so that's why I never really care when people say, oh, you should be doing so much better and there should be so much more. No, we actually do very, very well, because our rankings in the YouTube community are very well. And if you ever see a site you think they're doing really good, and you find out you can't see their watch time and all these things and a number of different aspects of their channel, they're hiding those. That tells you a lot about that. Is anyone going to San Antonio or Phoenix? Can't afford the trip, and my girlfriend had a health scare, so can't make it unless I find treasure. You'll have a good time. Okay, so you gotta hope for Bowman to find a treasure, so then he can make it. But she still will have health problems. Is the health okay? It's a financial end of the thing. And I don't know anybody going to San Antonio. I don't know anybody coming from San Antonio or out down that way. I don't know if we have anybody in here that does San Antonio. Oh, we have Arizona Gold Hunters down in Texas. Had a question for a few messages up about departure time. What was it? Departure time. Hello, all. Okay, Golden Day. Oh, I know the gates open on Friday at 12. What time does everybody leaves as fast as they can on Sunday? Here's the deal. The last dawn out has to tell the trash, whatever trash is in the bags and stuff. and they have to haul the trash, and that's not hadn't gotten burned and stuff. There's always 4 or 5 bags, and find a dumpster for it, which I've done that a number of times, and has to lock the gate. So you will notice that there's a lot of people hustling around that are dons trying to pack up and get out of there, and then say, well, you got the gate. And we usually said, if you get the gate, we'll do this, we'll do that. I've got stuck with the stinky trash bags, which I've done for a few years. You think you will get permission to dig up Bob Ward's secrets? I know where his secrets are. I know where it's sitting. We even talked that there's a little camp picnic spot right there. Me and Trevor were joking how you could park there and just walk up the hill and start digging out the old Kovac chicken mine. New Park has huge dumpster. It costs $7 to get in there. Oh, by the way, we did a video catching it, but I will throw out and kind of do this. But it was a humorous video of us driving around. We were out there last Sunday. It was about 85 degrees. It was really nice out. We were like, man, this is a really great day. We were at the Don's camp. We went down to the Quarter Circle U. We were kind of messing around a bit. We decided to run in and look at the county park, see if there's any new additions or how things are kind of situated and stuff. At that time at the county park, it was the camp host, the park ranger, and me and Trevor in my truck driving around and around all over the place. We talked to the park ranger for a bit, but yes, that day there was nobody there. We were the only people there. And we kept driving along thinking, well, man, we could use any facility we want and all this. Maybe we should just run in and use every bathroom. But it was, I even joked with the park rangers, what the heck's going on? And he said, when it's really cool out, occasionally they'll get a nice group of people. But that place is huge. They did a lot and changed a lot of things out there. And it's kind of like weird that there's nobody out there. I mean, that place is pretty massive. And we drove every single road several times, and we filmed, and we're just kind of, me and Trevor were cracking up because we're like, man, how many millions and tens of millions of dollars they spent on this, and there's nobody here. You would think, regardless of the weather, it's fall, that somebody, well, go Gold Prospect in San Antonio. That's what okay, there we go. So there we go. So there you go, Taz. So there's somebody in San Antonio. San Antonio, you said, but they're in San Antonio. But yeah, there was nobody at the park. It was very weird. And I thought, wow. And it was funny because when we went in, I told Trevor we should, because the thing on the envelopes was kind of loose on the top. I said, you should dig out everybody else's payments and just leave ours in there, and we'll make some money off of it. And we were joking around. And the funny thing is, we were the only people that paid. So, how disappointing to be thieves and there's nothing there. How many spots are there to camp? It's a pretty large camp. You can go to Google Maps or whatever, go down to the Peralta Trail. There's a whole upper parking lot. Let's put it this way. They used to be able to bring in the vehicles, and there was probably anywhere from 150 Dons or so that camped out and stayed down there in the lower low camp, which is the south end of the camp. So they would have 1,200 people, 12 to 1,500 people, close to 2,000 people in that camp with vehicles, buses, and everything else. There's a lot of room. So there's a lot of room to spread out. I don't think it's ever been too crowded. People will cluster together where other people are. But I know there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 or 8 buildings, and then sometimes different people camp up by the kitchen area. Sometimes someone will camp in there, which is a nice area. So that'd be about 8. Kind of under that, Roger usually parks his RV under next to the smaller Ramada. And let's see, then we have the big Ramada area, which doesn't have any camping by it. And then there's several camps that are always used, but the lower camp, you could probably, my gosh, you could probably fit 20, 30 camps down there. And then the upper parking lot is pretty enormous. So if you go on Google Maps and go to the Peralta Trailhead and then back up, you'll see the Dons Camp, the amphitheater and everything, and you'll see that there's a lot of room there. All right. There should be enough room that everyone that comes, nobody should have to be down at the county park. Everybody should be free down at the Dons Camp. Are fires allowed at their site or only at the Ramadas? If there's a fire ring that's been previously built, the fires are allowed. We haven't had a problem. The Forestry Service hasn't given us anything. There's one in my campsite when you come down the hill from the Don's camp sign, you'll see there's a fire. There's a nice flat area. That's usually where the camp host is. I'll camp in there. And there's a fire pit there where we'll gather at. There's one in the main ramada. There's a few others scattered around. But then the other thing is we usually all gather together. So the big ramada, if there's enough people want to sit up and just sit around and talk, the big ramada, we usually do it in there. And that has a big fire pit in the funnel or the chimney to get everything out of there. And it depends how hot it is. Sometimes you do it in there because it's nice, really nice out. But then other times you don't want that open fire in there because it just makes it too hot with the people. So we do it outside. Like at my camp, that's usually where we kind of wind up and end up a lot of times. What happens a lot of times is everybody gets tired and they just want to chill out. And then there's a group of us that don't chill out and we gather around that fire, and people come and go from our campfire. But there can be 25, 30 people around the fire at my fire. And sometimes we can have 30, 40 people up in the big ramada. So, and it's people are going to drift in and out. I'm trying to remember to, depending on things, I'm going to try to get a couple lights and things out to kind of give. There was a bit of problem with people coming in Friday nights and thinking no one's there, because if we're in one of the ramadas or one of the areas and we don't have a big enough fire, they don't think anyone's in camp. We had one year there was at least 15 of us, and we didn't have a fire, and we sat in the small ramada area. I know there was Greg Davis, myself, Paul Shimmick was there, Salvador was there, Alan Tree was there. I'm trying to remember everybody's, but there was a bunch of us there, and we were just kind of sitting in the dark. We kind of kept lanterns off, had a few flashlights, but we just sat there on the benches in the dark talking. There was enough moonlight we could see each other. Well, a bunch of people showed up, and we couldn't see the hill, the gate, and they couldn't see that there was any sign of anyone in there. So they all just turned and went home, figured we weren't coming out till Saturday. And then we were real curious, because we were all sitting around trying to figure out, why isn't anybody showing up? Because usually you get a crowd in Friday, a few stragglers on Friday night once it's dark, because after they get out there after work. And then we always end up with the group that comes out Saturday. And Saturday, around 2, 3 o'clock, it'll start filling up. And depending on the year, it usually fills up pretty good. Biggest crowd we've ever had has been probably somewhere over 300. So, and we've always kind of kept it there because, one, managing a huge, large crowd, which next year we will promote and try to see like what we did in the past and see what happens. But we're going to have to get help from the Dons and so forth with that a little. It's just not just asking all of you to help. It's getting the Dons, because it's a Dons event, to kind of help us with a few little things for safety reasons and whatnot. We've never had any major events and stuff. And then it's traffic. We got to kind of watch the traffic, because if you're not familiar with the camp, you come in, and I've watched people go into the upper lot and they drive around and around because they don't realize the road is right after the sign that leads to the lower camp. So they kind of see people. And then I always worry that someone's going to just go right off the edge of the amphitheater down into the amphitheater with their car, which would be really sad. I don't think I've ever heard of that happening. So I think everybody, once they realize that open area just suddenly appears in front of them, they stop. But there's a lot of room on the upper camp, and you'll see a few RVs here and there out there. But I'm going to try to get some solar lights. There's a few poles we could kind of pin them to, and so we'll have a little bit of lighting so people see it. Because there's one pole that always bothers us. Someone always ties a jacket to when you come in the road to the lower camp, and if they make too hard of a turn, there's a big metal pole there, and I think it's painted yellow, but you won't see it till it's too late. So there you go. But fires are allowed and all that and everything. I haven't heard anything about fire warnings or anything like that. And we do have several. I know there's a lower camp over from us that has a fire pit. It's not ever. I don't think it's been used in years. And we might have one out at the amphitheater. We've talked about building a small fire ring. Everybody's encouraged it, just for the look and feel. So might do that there. The only reason I just kind of frown upon that is usually once we're done at the amphitheater, we kind of break off to either the big ramada or the other campfires, and people have their campfires and stories. So there you go. And the other thing with the big ramada is it gets loud in there. So if you got 50, 100 people in there and they're talking, it's very loud in there. when we're in the amphitheater or down by my camp talking around the campfire, a lot of conversations go on, but it's very quiet because the open air sucks everything out. So it makes it a lot easier because you want to turn and start talking to somebody, and everybody just moves from chair to chair and listens in and stuff. So when there's too many people in the Ramada, that's what happens. But I like the big Ramada because it's generally pretty cool in there all day. It's shade all day in there, so it works out really well. Okay, so there we are with that. And yeah, I've made it another jump. So greetings from Prescott, from Dale Pitcock. And there we go. So we got the fires thing. Yeah, there will be campfires allowed. If there's something to do with that, campfires and not allowed, we'll still be allowed to do the main Ramada fire, and the amphitheater fire and the fire pit by my area. So we'll still be allowed to do some open fires. It'll just be where they're permitted by the Forestry Service in the camp rather than willy-nilly making them, even though we've willy-nilly made them in the past. So, but there we go. So there's the fire thing. So we always bring firewood because we're always going to. I like the big Ramada to have fire burning all day because it keeps the bugs away in there. But it also kind of like if somebody wants to cook something or whatever, we can always burn trash through the whole weekend. I'll deliver the wood Tuesday or Wednesday of that week. Okay. Where are you going to deliver it to? At the gate? So, okay. Because the gates will be locked until that time. Anyways, we'll be out there. I don't know if when someone's coming out, if any of the Dons will be out there. So the gate. Okay, we'll look for it. I'll let them know. Can we use a portable grill? Yeah, you can use a portable grill. You can use propane anytime you want. Anything like that. Yeah, you can cook out there and do everything. Like I said, it's just been once in a blue moon when there's been a really, really high fire danger. They've asked us not to build any extra fire rings, but for the most part, and that's the host camp. Usually we'll have a grill and stuff down there, and then we additionally have the campfire. And I've always allowed people to heat up or cook stuff there during that time period. So Joe Roboto always did that as well. He always kind of let people freely and like use the stuff to kind of heat up food and stuff. So we all kind of pitch in and do our part and all. But yes, you can bring charcoal grills, and this grill and that grill, and propane grills, and have them up. I think that's the primary way most people cook. So that's everybody. The propane is the kind of the wave of the future and so forth. Need help getting camp ready? I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday each week and close to the area. Just shout. All right, yeah, we went out, we checked everything out. Got a little bit of wood in the big Ramada. We burned a bunch of trash. We found a bunch of trash and stuff after highway cleanup, and we bagged that stuff for the highway department. But we went out and kind of cleaned up the camp and stuff and just checked on some of the things that were going on there, the roads, everything, the drives, everything looked good. So we kind of did a once over to make sure everything was in really good shape, locked it back up. I don't know if I'll be out again before then. It's now just kind of, I don't know who will be pulling in there. You might have a Don out there Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's hard to say when everybody will jump on out there. I know I'll be there Friday. So, and that's when we officially open, 12 noon Friday. But if the gate's open and someone's there, jump in. If you go down the hill on the left, leave that spot open, please. Don't make me come down and shoot you and bury you because that's my spot. I'll find another spot, but I won't be happy. And when I'm not happy, Randy Wright will tell you it's not a good weekend. And we'll run you out of there. We don't need no stinking badges. All right, so there we go. I will bring Salvador to keep the fires burning. Tell Salvador, there's something, as Frank said, tell Sal to bring a jacket. Last year he didn't even bring a jacket. He was cold all the time. I think someone finally broke down and gave him a blanket because he just slept in a chair or something somewhere. But he didn't even have a jacket. He started getting cold at night. I'm gonna freeze. Man, you made it through worse than this. But yeah, tell Salvador to bring a jacket. I don't know if Bobby's coming with them or if they're bringing the dogs or how's it all working. So, but yeah, last year he did not bring a jacket and he got cold. I'm thinking this is a man that brings jackets just to give away to people, and he forgot to bring his own jacket. So there you go, good old Salvador. It'll be good to see Sal. I haven't seen him all summer, so I haven't heard from him much at all. So it's been an odd summer. I think it was that we were hearing from each other, everything was going fine, and then June, and then once the temperature picked up, it was like bang, and we all got a tent for him. Well, he don't need no stinking tent, man. He just needs a bush or a sewer pipe, man. So no, you got a tent for him. Yeah, but the problem is with Sal is you got a tent for him, and you know what Sal's gonna do. If you know Sal, you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna give it away to somebody, and then you'll find him sleeping in a bench or a chair somewhere. Oh no, they needed the tent, man. You know they got kids, and no, Sal gives everything away. So no, but I look forward to seeing him. Yeah, it should have been kind of the heat of the summer hit, and I tried to call and stay in touch. Sal's a little more difficult because getting a hold of him and getting him to call back and then everything. But I think I haven't heard from him since probably June, and everybody's let me know, but I don't know if Shoes has even seen him. I forgot to ask Bob because we talked about him a few times and stuff, and so I know Ron just got back, so Ron wouldn't have seen him. So, but yes, so Jim, that's a very nice gesture on your part, and just don't be sad when Sal gives it away. Because I've watched people give Sal something, and Sal's like, "Oh, that's very nice," and all. Then I've watched him an hour later give it away to somebody else, and it's just like, "Oh, that worked out really good." And then they'll later say, "Hey, Sal, show him," and then he'd be like, "Oh, yes, yeah." So I don't know where I put it. Yes, but Sal is, if you gave Sal $20, someone else is ending up with $20 because Sal's just he isn't gonna even wait for someone to ask. He's gonna go find someone and say, "Hey, do you need $20? I got $20." I'll just give it to him. So yeah, that was always the joke there. Rick was like that too. Rick Wood can be like that too. He'd be, "Hey brother, I need $20 for something." Okay, whatever. You give him $20, and an hour or so later, he said, "Get that taken care of." "Oh no, so and so needed $20, so I gave it to him." So Rick would just pass it along. It was like, you guys are never gonna like break even. Everybody bring a tent for Sal. Well, we have chairs. There's chairs, benches, blankets. So we've always tried to. Yeah, I know he slept in the car a few times. A few times I don't know where he slept. He just kind of. Me and him were up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. We were up forever sitting in the chairs, and Sal would just talking and talking, having a good time. And then I said, "Oh, I got to get to bed. I got to get at least a couple hours sleep because it was Friday and I needed to get some rest for Saturday." And he said, "Oh, okay, be like that." And he was just sitting there in the chair when I went to bed. And then I got up later, go to the bathroom, and he wasn't there. So I don't know where he went. And then the next morning, he comes walking up with a plate of food. So someone fed him. So he'll be good. Everybody bring a tent for Sal. Yes, bring a tent for Sal. He won't use it though. That's the problem. So, but yes, bring him. Anybody's got a spare blanket or stuff. If you see Sal cold shivering on a bench, put a blanket on him. There you go, and keep Sal warm. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that all work and stuff. But Salvador is Salvador. Um, so we'll see. And I'm sure Salvador will be there because he never misses anything. Greg Davis will be there. So all that. And there's a few other people that said they probably will come, and I'm not going to announce them and this and that. But yeah, it will be cool. We could have a really cool camp. A lot of fresh new people, some people that have just been coming out recently. I told Frank it's kind of a nice Dutch hunting crowd starting to come out that has interest. Some people have experience in the mountains. I know Dallas Wright is kind of getting into all this stuff and stuff like this. There's a couple other gentlemen on Facebook and stuff that run sites that come out and like to remain a little anonymous. But then Derek Papsky, and hopefully he'll come out with his kids and stuff. It's a really nice kind of group of people that are kind of into Dutch hunting and stuff, and aren't about all these theories and this and stuff. They just want to kind of come out and sit and learn and just kind of enjoy the brotherhood of the Dutch hunters. And that's very cool because we needed that generation of 30, 40-year-olds and stuff to start getting in here as we get older, for them to kind of take the next step and kind of take the next generation and everything else. Wow, we've made it almost to that hour. So it looks like the rendezvous, everything, and we were heavy rendezvous this week, but a lot of information in here if you joined late. A lot of information about the rendezvous and some of the planning we have. The rendezvous is the rendezvous. Always remember there's 2 rules. The first rule is everybody leave your bags at the gate. The second rule is there's no other rules. The only thing we really ask everybody is when the guest speakers and all that happen, lock everything up in your camp or whatever. Just walk over to the amphitheater or main ramada, wherever everything happens, and join us at least one time the whole weekend. Everybody get together at one time. And that's just kind of the whole thing of saying, look, we can all sit in the same space and spend an hour or two together. And then the rest of the time, if you want to sit in your own camp and just be by yourself, that's fine. But we like that one thing just to get everybody kind of there one time, show that we can do that. But other than that, we've never really had rules. No guns, don't shoot guns off, no dynamite. Don't be playing a lot of loud music and stuff because it's very peaceful out there. It's very quiet. You'll notice when you get out there, a lot of the people will park and have their camps in different places, and you'll just wander around and run into people here and there. Very laid back, and a lot of nice people always come out to the rendezvous. I don't think there's a problem with approaching almost anyone at the rendezvous. The only approaching problem with me is how busy we are. And I'm usually so busy that I always feel kind of bad after the rendezvous when I realize there's someone I said, oh, yeah, I'll catch back up to you, and I don't, and I can't, because I'm doing everything with the rendezvous and various people and trying to make sure everything goes smoothly. It basically, with Trevor's help and a couple other people giving me a little bit of an assist, it's a one-man show, me trying to drive it all these different ways. So we'll see how it goes this year. We've got things kind of organized. And like I said, for the 20th anniversary, I'm trying to kind of take it and do Joe Roboto and Ron Feldman, Tom Collingborg, very proud in the end of making sure the 20th one goes off really well, because it would be really cool. It would be cool. We didn't think we'd get year 3, 4, 5, much less year 20. So I promised Joe I'd take it for 10. And then I said, why not 15? And here I am starting to approach the 20th year. So we did good. We did good, Joe. So we got out there and we kept bringing them in. Sorry to see so many people leave us. And the spirit of those people will be at our camp. They won't be doing EVPs for us, though. I'm sorry, guys. They just, But Frank would do EVP. If Frank died, he would do EVPs. Frank would come back. He would find a way to do it, even though it shouldn't be able to be possible. But Frank would find a way. So there. That will be great because I will be there. There you go. I think a lot of people will make the 20th. And like I said, we'll push it a little bit in Apache Junction and try to find a little something special. And like I said, this year will be, with the guest speakers, a little shorter times on some stuff and a little more variety, kind of a preview of what we're kind of pushing into, because I realize to some degree the rendezvous is kind of like Trek, free version of Trek. We don't serve a bunch of food. There's not a bunch of tickets. There's not a bunch of all that. And it's much lower scale, but it's kind of resembles a bit of that with, we do a hike and this and that. And the 20th, I'm thinking we'll see what we can do a little on a bigger scale and without it going too crazy on us, and then see what we can do in the future with that. Maybe with the Dons and some people from outside the Dons kind of work out a way to kind of do something to continue it over the next 5, 10, 15 years. This would have been, 34, so that would have been 66 years. Well, they did Trek for roughly around 70 years, right? Before last Trek was in 2004. So they did 70 years of Trek. So we could push 20, 25 years of Rendezvous. And of course, Discovery Camp's been around a little longer than I think the Rendezvous started 2005, 2006, 2005. And I think Discovery Camp kind of fell in right when, it might be the same age. It's weird. I've never thought about that. I know they started Discovery Camp. I thought it was earlier before the Trek ended, but Trek ended in 2004. And I'm pretty sure the first year of the Rendezvous was 2005, because the Lost Dutchman Mine Forum started in 2002. And it was about the second or third year that we did that. I got a coffee cup. I keep looking. I can't see the date. There is a coffee cup that shows I'm trying to think of what year, the third year of the Rendezvous. And I'll have to look at it when we're done here and see. But and we want to put something together for next year, a little something kind of, so everybody will have a little tutorial or something explaining the rendezvous. And actually, maybe we'll make a lie. You know, we'll make a kind of cool story out of it. But yeah, it would be nice to talk about and kind of have something so people see the oversight of all the guest speakers, all the stuff that's happened, the hikes and different things that have occurred. No drama, but there's been a lot of fun there, and a lot of good people have passed through that camp. So I'm going to wrap up because guess what? I'm still freaking hungry. And I did not hear anybody leave. So nobody went to get the pizza. So it's obviously we're waiting for me before we'll even get pizza, which I think sucks. There should be like, we finish and there we go. And it's like, what's old? Who's old? Well, I feel it some days. There's days I get up 3:30, 4 in the morning, and I can feel it. Man, there's a few times I've felt it. I've been like, man, what is this? Whose body is this? What's going on here? And that does happen occasionally. So now there's other times I'm standing there and I have no idea that I'm my age. So it doesn't. I don't have to act my age, but I can feel my age. So, and sometimes that does happen, and we are getting older and wiser, hopefully, or at least more common sense as we go. But yeah, nobody's even come to check or look in, like nothing. I'm thinking, man, I want a pizza. I want a thin crust, cowboy thin crust. And I'm not getting any. And nobody's even showing. Not even the dogs. Dogs deserted me. Man, that sucks. So I got nobody, man, looking out for me suddenly. Should have ordered pizza, see, and had it delivered while I do this. That would have been good. So thank you for everybody. Thank you, Dallas. We'll get to spend more time at the rendezvous because I know you're coming out. I don't know if you're coming out. You're going to be out in the Don's thing tomorrow or anything. You got any time for that? But I definitely will be out there Friday and kind of get my stuff set up. And the reason I'm kind of getting there earlier than I normally do is to kind of get my stuff set and kind of like definitely kind of be there to be able to kind of catch people coming in, a lot of the new people, first timers and stuff. I'm free until I look in the mirror. I'm fine until I look in the mirror. I'm good with the mirror. I'm just, just there's days things don't move the way they want to. There is one thing I remember Gene Reynolds told me. Prospector worked with Glenn McGill. And he said, all the stuff you ate, all the stuff you did, all the things you did to yourself through the course of a lifetime, you will get older and you will find the damage you've caused by those things and go, holy crap. Now I understand. Well, I think I'm getting closer to that age where I kind of go like, yeah, I was an idiot. I shouldn't have, I thought it was funny taking that tumble, this tumble, things I did, and thought, no, I got lucky, but I bounced well, and now I'm realizing I didn't bounce as well as I thought. So there's wear and tear that comes and occurs as you get older. And I'm doing good, but I'm doing fine. I'm doing better than fine compared to a lot of people, but I do feel it sometimes. And when I feel it, it kind of is shocking because I don't see it. I just kind of go like, holy crap, what's going on here? So there we go. Thank you, everybody. I know there was a lot of people I hadn't seen for a while. A lot of people kind of joined in. It was really cool to see them. I always enjoy seeing the people that kind of stop in and out. I know people with YouTube kind of catch it here and there and a little bit of a mix of everywhere. We've got people that regularly show up in here, and then people that we didn't see this week, they'll jump in next week. So we'll do one more week of the lives, kind of getting ourselves wrapped, and I should be able to give a full preview of the rendezvous and what we're doing and if there's any needs or what's going on there. I thank everybody and welcome everybody to come out to the rendezvous. Like I said, it's a free event. Bring some firewood, some water. If you can just bring yourself a blanket and sleep in your car and run to McDonald's each day for some food because that's all you're going to be able to do. That's cool and that's perfectly fine. It's not meant you got to be the rugged hunter. You got to have this or do this. The idea is to get people out there and sit around and share, time. Like I said, one of the coolest things I always remember at the Rendezvous is when there was about 20, 30 of us, and we sat around a campfire, and Clay Worst came down. And Clay just talked for like 2, 3 hours. And he talked about his life and from being a young boy and everything. It wasn't really just Dutch hunting stuff. People asked Dutch hunting questions, but Clay talked a lot of just about his life and his views of the world and so forth. And it was just really, really cool just hearing him just reminisce. It wasn't a lecture, it wasn't a talk. It was Clay just talking about his life and us all just sitting there listening to it and kind of learning a lot from it and being pretty amazed at what he accomplished and what he did in his life. That's one of the cooler aspects of the Rendezvous. You get a lot of that from a lot of people, and I've been able to share that. Um, I know when I can't Baker Looney from McGill's group came down, I got to talk to him a bit. Never get to talk to him as much as I wanted. But Brian Lickman, when he'd come out, and there's a lot of time. There's God, how many times I've sat around with Jesse and Shoes, and we've just, Rick would be there and Sal, and we would just be talking deep into the night about anything and everything under the sun, and trips we've made different places and kind of different things. So very, very cool. Definitely. That's one of the things I always loved about the Rendezvous. Why I continue to make sure we operate it and kind of run it is because you get that moment, and you will have those moments where you're sitting somewhere and you hear things and you realize, I would have never heard this, but here, and I'm going to remember this because this was really kind of cool being in that moment. And that's kind of, to me, the best part of the Rendezvous, because in a year or 2 or 3, you might not have that. And think of how many people sat around with Clay. Clay's still with us, but Tom Collin-Warner, Rick Wynn, and heard these stories deep into the night around a campfire. It's not going to happen again. That's never happening again. We didn't record them. We didn't do them for YouTube videos. We didn't do them for any reason like that. We did them just kind of to share that time together. And when you're there, you'll realize it's kind of a very neat thing. So there you go. Thanks for the great stories. And yeah, no problem. One more story coming up Monday. A couple more stories. And then, like I said, we got a live next Friday. And then I'm out at the Rendezvous. So I can't wait to see everybody there. We're going to end and wrap this up because, again, nobody's showing up to say, hey, we're going for the pizza. I don't know what I did. I did something wrong today. So there we go. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you next week. Most of all, have a great weekend and have a great rest of the week till we talk to you again on Friday. And remember, well, I don't know. I still need an ending for this outside of just like, thanks for being here at Legends Live, blah, 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 blah. They're in the other room eating pizza. No, because I would hear them go out. They'd have to come by me. They have to come by the studio and go out the door. So, and the dogs would be in here. If they left, the dogs would be in here with me. So they didn't know. Nobody, there's no dogs. There's nobody. So they're digging that hole for me out back. So everybody have an awesome weekend. I will catch everybody Monday on Chasing Legends. And like I said, next Friday on Live. Have a great one. We will catch you later. This is Legends Live, and we're out of here.